This is Ready Set Reiki, a podcast about Reiki and all energy work, from the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all lineages, all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination. And on this Ready Set Reiki journey, I refer to myself as a guide rather than host, as I too am traveling, learning, and supporting others on this Reiki journey as well. And with that said, I am your guide, Tracy Seawright, and this is Ready Set Reiki. Hello, Reiki family. Reiki blessings to you, one and all. Another journey ahead. But before we begin, I'd like to invite you to a certain place on Facebook. And this is the Reiki Business Collective. This is about sharing, supporting, and serving. Here you can connect with your Reiki business community. Christian Stone does an amazing job at guiding and helping and supporting with each other here. And so I want you to understand and know truly that you are never alone on this Reiki journey, that there are places here, safe places for you to come and to help share, support, and serve. No matter where you are on your Reiki journey, maybe you're not even thinking about business, right? This is still a great place to go, to network, to be in community with each other. Maybe you're just starting. Maybe you're in the middle of it. So wherever you are in this journey, I hope that you'll reach out, check it out. It is free to join, no cost at all. When I began my Reiki journey, I was alone. I, did a Google search and I found the Energy Connection in Irwin, Pennsylvania. And it took a little bit to get that community, but I found it. So here's a great place for you, and I hope you check it out. So let's begin our journey together. It is 200 episodes. Today is March 28th. And it is a special day. It marks the 3-year anniversary of Ready Set Reiki. Also, my grandmother's birthday. My grandmother was born March 28th, 1919. And even though she's no longer here, even though she watches out for me, I was her early birthday present, March 24th. So I invite you and welcome you to Ready Set Reiki. Here is the amazing thing about energy work. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it, said by Albert Einstein. So what a beautiful and wonderful stress-reducing modality. And I'm coming on to just, tell you thank you. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for coming along this journey. Thank you for being curious and just supporting this. My reason for doing the podcast was really quite interesting. I was contacted by a producer who invited me to come on to a radio show, had this wonderful pitch, and at the end of it, asked for a payment of $1,500. And I thought, really? And she said, yes, gave some really great reasons why that cost. And I chose not to do that. I thought, you know what? I don't think so. And about a couple weeks later, a student who's now a friend had shared with me, oh yeah, I did that. And it didn't work out for her. Since then, on this journey, I've met a total of 3 people who have had that experience. And all 3 of them said that they did not get the benefits that they were promised. So I created Ready Set Reiki as a way for those of us in this world to come on, to be on a podcast. I don't charge anything to be on the podcast. It's an opportunity for you to share your story. Maybe you have a potential client that's not really sure if Reiki's for them. They can listen to you and get a sense of your energy. And the hope that we can support each other, that it's a scaffolding, and that we can sprinkle Reiki all through the world. So with it being the 200th episode here, some things that I have learned in this journey. Well, you may know, or maybe you don't, that there are many, many different systems of Reiki out there. And it just seems like every time I go online, I'm finding a new system. It can be a beautiful thing, but then for some people, they're very rooted in that tradition and are afraid that the traditional Uzui Rahiho is going to be really watered down. The idea here is that it's about love and it's about service. And those individuals that I've had come on and they've had that calling to, bring forth a new system. Their goal really is love and service. And if you have a specialty Reiki that gets somebody motivated or inspired or out of that kind of hole, maybe that's a beneficial thing. In 2003, I was introduced to Reiki by my dear friend, Sandy, who was my college roommate. I wasn't ready then. I had the opportunity to watch her on the table and watch that practitioner. At the time, that practitioner is what I would call an intuitive practitioner. He moved his hands wherever the Reiki energy guided him. It really wasn't until 2020 where my sister had passed. I have a half sister. We shared the same father, and her loss was the Jenga piece out of our family. I already had the foundation of yoga, but I needed something a little bit more. And my friend reminded me, why don't you give Reiki another try? When I went to search for it, I did that Google search and I found who would be my teacher, Linda, at the Energy Connection. I only at that time thought there was one type of Reiki. I had no idea that there was a Zui Rahiho and Holy Fire and all these kind of other beautiful systems that are out there in the world. All I knew is I wanted to help my dad feel better. He was brokenhearted. I wanted to help my children, and I wanted to help myself get out of this hole of grief. My sister always did the right thing. She always helped everyone. She was the good daughter. She was the devout Catholic. So when this happened, it was this realization that, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with my life? There were so many things in her home that she never got to finish, many unfinished projects because she was so busy helping others that I thought, what can I do? All these things that I had put on the back burner. All these things that I put on the back burner required something that's known as confidence. And I had lost that when she passed. We were going through a global pandemic at the time, and there were opportunities to go online to learn. And I took that opportunity to redo a yoga teacher training that I had done many years ago. And I wanted to do one with a yoga school that was Yoga Alliance accredited. I did this 6-week training. And as I was going into the different breakout rooms on Zoom to teach, I had lost my confidence. I was stumbling over my words. I was forgetting the asanas. I broke down in a particular break room crying because I thought I'm never going to get better. I'll never be able to speak. I'll never be able to teach again. Reiki was instrumental. Even though you have hand placements for self-Reiki, I chose to place one hand on my heart and the other right above my navel center in the solar plexus. Here, I would ask the Reiki to help. I did my just for today, I will not worry. And I asked for the help. There were moments in my evening that I was just crying because I thought I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be smart enough. I'm not going to be confident enough. And it took some time. When I took that first Reiki training, I never imagined where Reiki would take me. Here, as I went to level 1 and continued to work on myself, deep rooted healing in myself. Every time I continued my education within Reiki, I began to see a clearing of things in myself, a sense of calmness. I grew up in a home that was very Bible-based. My grandfather was a Christian. My mother was a Christian. My mother's, very Bible-based, read the Bible many times. Yoga was not accepted. Sound bowls were not accepted, and certainly the Reiki. But it was this understanding as I learned from it that I could make it my own, that it wasn't something bad or something that had a dogma attached to it. And I made it my own, and I mixed it with prayer, God, Reiki, this energy to help heal me. As I moved forward to navigate through my grief and began training, I went through the levels. A Zui Rahiho was the first level I went through. I did my level 1, the level 2, and the level 3 that made you a master practitioner. I went at the appropriate pace and then had an opportunity to apprentice for a certain time to become that master teacher. I also went on to Uzui Holy Fire Reiki. There was something about the Uzui Rahi Ho that just didn't do it for me. Maybe it's because I was in Aries and I needed a little fire to help guide me. But Uzui Holy Fire was it for me. That really helped me deeply heal. I liked that opportunity that I could make it spiritual, that I could bring God, Jesus, Mary into it if I chose to. Here, this helped with this culturally created self. When I was born, my parents were young. They were together for a short time, and let's just say I was a surprise. So things were a little challenging for my parents, but that's their story. But my story is I came into the world and my parents weren't getting along, but they kept on going. And then my mother got pregnant and she had a stillborn. And after that loss of that baby, my mother had probably postpartum depression, not sure. This was in the 70s. They didn't know any better. And remember, she was very young when she had me. Her and my father weren't getting along, and my father and her broke up, and my father went on to get married and have another family. As I was growing up, I was reminded that my father chose another family. There were things spoken over to me as a child, whether it was intentional or unintentional. Remember, my mom had gone through a very large trauma. And as I navigated through things, I was told the word no a lot, or you could not do that. It was almost like, well, you're going to grow up, you're going to be a great wife. Oh, when you grow up, you know what? Don't do that. You can be a nurse or a secretary. So I was spoken over to many, many times of many different things. I recall being told that you're not good at math. You're like me. And so I never tried. I never tried to take calculus or try to challenge myself because I had that spoken over to me. When I was probably about 11 or 12 years old, I wanted to get into acting. And I recall hearing my uncle say, "Who do you think you are, Brooke Shields?" And that really hit me. And I eventually stopped with the acting. So words really molded who I slowly became. And as I became that adult who was struggling with the loss and watching my father brokenhearted, some of that trauma was coming up. And he was choosing to give up because he lost Angel. And he wasn't trying to stay in this earth for me and his grandchildren. And I had to make peace with this. My father eventually got very sick. He gave up. And he ended up passing a year after we lost Angel. So I had a lot of work to do. I had a lot of forgiveness of family members, forgiveness to myself to heal. And the Reiki for me was instrumental. I began to go on a quest of learning different types of systems of Reiki. I was this curious beginner in a way to find that just right for me. System after system, I felt more empowered. I felt, how can I be of service? And slowly it became into a business. I had an opportunity in 2022. My husband was already in El Paso for work to completely break apart my life and start over. So here in a Jeep with 6 Cavalier King Charles, my husband and I, he drove us across to El Paso, Texas, where I decided to not go back into the classroom. Just a few years before, when he had the opportunity and he left, I stepped down from a teaching job and became a special education aide. So I decided when I came to El Paso, let's give yoga and Reiki full-time a try. Here's where the confidence finally kicked in. It took some time. Remember, she passed in 2020, and this was 2022. The prayers that please help me with this, help empower me, help heal me so I can be of service to others. And it was a consistent. This is the key to this. As a school teacher, I would sing, we're going on a bear hunt, a bear hunt, a bear hunt. Can't go over it, can't go around it. The only way you can do it is to get through it. And that's what I had to do. Day after day, prayer after prayer, finally getting to the point, I think I can do this. I went on Insight Timer. My topic was clear the fear, and I was so frightened. And I did 30 minutes. And I did that. And I thought, I don't know if I can do it again. And then I heard an interview by Bob Geldof talking about a concert. And it was a few years after John Lennon had passed. And it was an opportunity for Paul McCartney to come on. And Bob Geldof spoke about how Paul McCartney was so afraid to come back on because he had not played live since John Lennon passed. And then that made me realize Paul McCartney, a Beatle, how many years of experience, and he felt that fear. Then I heard an episode of Howard Stern talking to Madonna, and Madonna talked about how she was physically sick and afraid and scared doing a national anthem. And I thought, wow, these two individuals who, when you watch them, look like it's effortless. And I think something shifted and changed in me, that I can do this. And the confidence began to bloom. Confidence, as Joe Rogan said, is just consistency with positive feedback. So the more that I do this and the more that I grow. On my journey here with Ready Set Reiki is an opportunity to have others have their story told. So you, as you listen, can realize that you don't really need to have any special or extraordinary gifts. You just want to be of service, and you also want to heal yourself. It is that inspiration to ask for the courage, to ask for the confidence, to step forward. And not everybody's going to understand what you're doing, but this is your journey. If you have the calling for this, by all means, you are meant to do this. Out of everyone who has come on, over 200 guests, the foundation, the root has been the same: service and love. They want to help. They've connected with something that has changed their lives. Many of these individuals, many of these guests that I've been blessed to have a part of my journey had that catalyst of change. Whether it was an accident, a death, some life-changing thing. Life makes you uncomfortable so that you move to find your purpose. And those individuals, through all the trauma, all the drama, and misfortune, rose up and say, how can I help you? How can I be of service? So Reiki is just one way to get there. Maybe it's just the beginning of your journey and helps you to the next. What is Reiki? Well, that's that universal energy life force. It is all around us. And as I said in the beginning, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it, by Albert Einstein. Here it is all around us. And here we can use that as a tool. Learning these different systems, or even just having one, you have something in that energetic toolbox to help you when you get overwhelmed, when you have that wave, placing the hand and breathing. That consistency is important. Self-Reiki every day. If you've done Reiki and you're not understanding why it's not working, it's probably because you're not using it every day. It is something to be used as a tool. It is a healing technique, a stress-reducing modality. And it's that spiritually guided life force energy. And it's considered a complementary therapy. It is never going against what the doctor has prescribed or ordered. It goes along with your primary care plan. So what are some things that I can help and teach you or show you what I've learned on this journey? Is number one, just give it a try. Reiki is something that you have to experience, right? So go and find a practitioner. You want someone who is ethical, someone who has you sign a waiver, a client form. Now, there is some division in the world of Reiki, whether in person or online. And here's the thing with this. It really should just be up to that person. Some people are fine having it online. It's that same energy that we wish upon a star, we blow out the candle with on the birthday cake, right? So as we pray, so it's universal energy life force. Azui Sensei was on a mountain and connected with that energy. So why can't you lay in your bed and someone's online live giving you a Reiki session? I really think that it's honestly up to that person that's receiving it. It's about intention with that. So try to experience it. If you can in person, great. If you can do it online, wonderful. I know for myself, I'll watch a movie, and if it's a scary movie, oh, I jump and that emotion comes through, right? When I see something on the news that's horrific, that it takes your breath away. So trust in the process. Check it out, see if it's for you. And give it maybe a couple more chances. There's a lot of different factors. Reiki is cumulative. If you have emotional baggage that you've been carrying for 20 years, have miracles happen? Absolutely. But it might take a couple of sessions. That practitioner may not resonate with you, right? So keep exploring. Keep that open heart, open mind. Remember, complementary therapy, stress reducing modality to get you calm, and you are doing the healing. You are pulling that through that practitioner and helping bring healing into your body. Number two is, see what you're comfortable with. Are you someone who's just curious? Reiki getting a training in level 1 is about you. So if it's something that you're always going to Reiki practitioners, which is great, maybe it might be time to learn about Reiki. And really what I mean by that is getting either a live teacher in person or online, communicating, not one of those on demands, not your first time around here. Get a teacher that can help guide you through the process. This is coming from teacher to teacher, there's that oral history, there's techniques and things like that. So it's important to have a live teacher. And again, I mentioned there's some division, like, these attunements and placements can't be done online. In person, see where you are. See where you are with this. Are you somebody that enjoys online learning? Are you someone that I have to physically be there? All right. So explore that possibility. Now, where do you begin? Azui Rahiho is considered that baseline there, but there are a lot of other different systems. Many of these complementary or specialty systems, you have to have that Azui Rahiho, or basically those symbols before you can do it. I teach money Reiki, that's the same thing. Kid Reiki, you have to have Azui as well. Animal Reiki, you have to have that foundation before you go into that specialty. But there's lots of other systems out there that you don't need that. So investigate, look at it, see. There's so many systems out here. There's fairy, there's Celtic, there's crystal, animal, you name it. I'm sure I saw dolphin. I've had some people that had their own system like Lotus and Kai. So many wonderful and amazing things that bring value. And, maybe that just right for you with that. What else can we be looking for? Well, I said about that ethical practitioner, the waiver. If you've been taking many, many sessions, maybe consider, getting educated and learning, and just, try to be open about it. Reiki respects free will, and that's number 3. If it's something that doesn't resonate with you, it's not forced, it's not demanded, it's not commanded upon you. Reiki will just float on by. And it's kind of like, hey, can I give you a hug? No, thank you. Well, that's what Reiki is going to be. It's not forced on anything. And so that's kind of the understanding that I hope that you gain from this, is that it isn't forced. I ask every single guest, what are some of the misconceptions? Number 4 here is those misconceptions. What is it? Well, Reiki does no harm. It's not this touchless or massage that you can do with clothes on. There's many things about it that are wonderful. Again, stress reducing technique. It is a Japanese technique for stress reducing. There are so many different ways to do this now. We have people that are intuitive, and there are people that do the systematic. So systematic is they're following along the hand placement of Madame Takata. So going back to number 1, where we're looking for that ethical practitioner, ask them, are you intuitive or are you systematic? Intuitive's that one who kind of moves the hands around. That was Uzui Sensei. You had a different session every time you went. Maybe things come through. Maybe you get impressions. But if that's not for you and you like those hand placements, then by all means, ask, like, what kind of session? What does the session look like? You can ask those things. Do you have music? What kind of room will we be in? Do you do a meditation? So ask those questions. Many practitioners will tailor the session for you. If you don't like loud music, they'll turn the music off. Maybe you need a crystal in your hands. Maybe you need an eye pillow. So do that exploring. It's okay. Many of the guests I've had on the podcast offer a 15-minute consultation, whether online or on the phone or in person. And you can ask for that. If they're not offering it, say, hey, can we just chat for 15 minutes? And so that might be an opportunity for you to learn and grow. Lots of information online to read. And there is a time now that it's all over social media. So there's not that much of a stigma with it as much anymore. Some circles there are, but you will see online that there is that division of, can it be done in person? Can it be done online? And my personal opinion is it really just depends on that individual. If you are someone who is not well and you can't afford to travel, and you have an amazing teacher that you found in California and you live in New Jersey and you connect with that teacher and that teacher's amazing, why not have it online and have that connection, right? That beautiful connection together. So I think it's your individual journey with this. So I hope this goes over a little bit of the things that I have learned in this journey. I certainly have learned and grown here. It's been an amazing opportunity. I've really expanded my community. And many people, why do you do the podcast if you don't get any kind of financial gain from it? But it's just the people. I have met some amazing people that I will consider lifelong friends on this journey. And we've connected and we've pod swapped, and I've gotten books and things and learned so much on it that I am so forever grateful. And I am so grateful to each and every one of you that listens, and then you go back and you support the other practitioners on here and spread Reiki all over the world. And it was my hope by creating this podcast that I provide a platform for practitioners wherever they are, whether they're curious beginner or they're the seasoned master teacher, to talk about their story, to share their offerings at no cost, and they're able to be a part of this community, and we can spread Reiki all over the world. So thank you again. It is the 200th episode, and let's continue on the journey for 200 more. I am so happy that you are here and a part of my journey. And thank you so much. And I'm Tracy Seawright, and this has been Ready, Set, Reiki.